down and pray. You better get down and pray. You better pray for forgiveness. You better get down and pray for all your dirty business. You better get down upon your knees. Beg the Lord, please, please, please. You better get down and pray. If you think there ain't nobody and it's only just you and me, that's the first time in a long time, honey.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Session 3 of the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. My name is Randy Henderson, and I am one of the Black Feminist Reading Circle members of this online group. This session runs from January 20th until June 2nd and includes 2 week-long breaks. Our democratically selected reading material is Harriet A. Washington's book, Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. Our book group meets each Tuesday evening from 6:30 to 8 on the Google Plus Hangouts on Air platform. You may find the Global Black Feminist Reader Circle on Google Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and always feel free to join us in reading our story together.
Welcome everyone to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. This is session 3, meaning the third book that we're reading, and meeting 8. Our text is Medical Apartheid, The Dark History of Medical Experimentation on Black Americans from Colonial Times to the Present. And tonight we are focused on Chapter 7, A Notoriously Syphilis-Soaked Race, What Really Happened at Tuskegee. My name is Michelle Odom. I am the co-host of the Reading Circle and tonight's moderator.
Hi everyone, my name is Randy. I am watching from Atlanta, and I co-moderate with Michelle. I'm also at work, so he's all this.
Good evening, everyone. I am Georgette Moses. I'm participating from Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm so happy to be here.
I'm Kim Brandon, and I'm joining everyone from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm grateful that we're having these discussions. Happy about it? I don't know, but I just think it's necessary.
Good evening. My name is Vanita Walker, and I'm joining you from Connecticut. Welcome.
I'm Joel Jones from South Carolina. How's everybody doing?
Between 1932 and 1972, 399 Black men were enrolled and monitored in a study on the progression of untreated syphilis, a known killer, without their knowledge or consent. A control group of 200 uninfected men were also added to the population of subjects. Author Harriet A. Washington reveals in Chapter 7, A Notoriously Syphilis-Soaked Race, What Really Happened at Tuskegee. Details about the actors, motives, and actions of those who designed and carried out this well-publicized example of medical violence. By 1955, nearly 1/3 of the autopsied men had died directly of syphilis, and many of the survivors were suffering its deadliest complications, we learn. And further, 40 wives were infected and at least 19 children were born with syphilitic birth defects. Washington begins with an examination of the oppressive conditions among African Americans in Macon County, Alabama, when the Depression-era study was started, and delivers readers to the day in 1997 when President Bill Clinton apologized to the few living subjects whose lives had been forever harmed by intentional acts of the U.S. government. Along the way, she reveals details of her own original research with living members of the ad hoc panel who ultimately ended the study, places the study in the context of other and subsequent medical abuse of African Americans, offers some conclusions about the study's meaning and place in American history and race relations, considers its impact on current research practices, and shares her perceptions of the contributions of the Tuskegee Syphilis Study to fears Blacks carry about the healthcare system and its impact on the collective health of African Americans.
Into the light, another Wikipedia article says Judas Iscariot was, according to the New Testament, one of the 12 original apostles of Jesus Christ and son of Simon Iscariot. He is known for the kiss and betrayal of Jesus to the Sanhedrin for 30 silver coins. His name is often invoked to accuse someone of betrayal. Despite his notorious role in the gospel narratives, Judas remains a controversial figure in Christian history. Judas' betrayal, for instance, is seen as setting in motion the events that led to Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, which, according to traditional Christian theology, brought salvation to humanity. Gnostic text rejected by the mainstream church is heretical, praise Judas for his role in triggering humanity's salvation, and views Judas as the best of the apostles. There are so many Judases in this story, it's hard to count them all, but let's try. The white men who designed and carried out the Tuskegee Syphilis Study, Taliaferro Clark, Thomas Murrell, Raymond Vanderleer, and Oliver C. Winger are among them. The black women used to track the men, Nurse Eunice Rivers is among them. The black doctors whose names we do not learn, but whom agreed to not treat the men, are among them. Dr. Brodus Butler, who chaired the ad hoc panel, is among them. The government of the United States of America is among them. World Bank Fund, the American Medical Association, the U.S. Public Health Service, and Centers for Disease Control are among them. Question 8. Washington points out that PHS documents verify that the sera of the infected Tuskegee subjects was used to develop more reliable tests for syphilis, on which the U.S. government profited handsomely. Do you believe that the benefits gained from the Tuskegee Syphilis Study outweigh the cost paid by the black men and their families to reap those awards? Question 9. Washington is medical ethicist, and her approach in this book and chapter is to highlight the unethical actions of medical professionals. Yes, those whom have vowed to do no harm. Yes, those whom have vowed to do no harm. Do you believe that the limits imposed by ethical behavior are too costly in the march toward progress, or that humanity might benefit by a slower pace of progress that allows a place for integrity, compassion, and justice? Question 10. How is humanity impacted when integrity and ethics are devalued?
Progress. Do you believe that the benefits gained from the Tuskegee Syphilis Study outweigh the cost paid by the black men and their families to reap those rewards? I'm going to say no, but I know, and Vanita knows, I am an oddball
No, you're
from
not.
way back. See my 70s hair going on, Randy? um, I think that we pay a deep, deep, deep human cost for the pace of technological change that we favor in Western society. The doctors wanted to learn what happens to your body, to a black body, when it is not treated for syphilis. Because, of course, they believed that what happened to a black body would be different from what would happen to a white body. If they had not done the study, what would have happened? It didn't seem to have an impact on the discovery of penicillin as a cure. So we still would have penicillin. We may not have or had at that time the test. The government created a test for syphilis using the bodily fluids from these men, and the test was popular and sold all over the world, and the U.S. government made a lot of money from it. So that might not have happened at the time that it happened if we had slowed down our curiosity. I think that we can afford to wait on learning various things a lot of times, but we have been sort of trapped on this mode that has accelerated, I think at a fantastic pace in our lifetimes, Anita. The rate of change that we have seen is really unprecedented in human history, and I think it's too much. I think it is driving people crazy. I think it is leading to all sorts of unethical practices, Tuskegee being just one example. And I think that we're not understanding the cost of the progress that we want so badly. Think of climate change. Think of all the ways that technology in that area has led to damage to our environment, to our ecosystem. We're moving too fast. Anybody else?
Well, you brought up an interesting part about moving too fast. I'm not sure it's just the speed that's the problem, but the lack of care, a lack of empathy for what the effects will be, not just what you're trying, the result of your experiment, but if you are in search of this goal also doing harm in this area, well then that's not a good goal to be seeking after. And then also the interjection of finances into, has colored everything. It's overshadowed ethics and behavior. humanity. You know, once you interject riches into the prospect, everything goes out the window. So whatever cure you might have come up with or solution, even if there was a cure that finally cured cancer, would they give it to the people? Would they give it to the people at an affordable price? Would they give it to everyone?
No.
No.
Yeah. No.
That's right.
No.
So the
That's it.
sacrifices, the sacrifices these men made, willingly or unwillingly, and everyone else who's been in a project that they don't know about, are for naught, because there's one group here that's going to profit from it. Not the people who are ill from whatever that the disease is, but the people who want to make money off of supplying the cure for that disease.
Well,
So,
that's the question. Why is it that we seem to be the victims all the time of the horrid, disgusting, experimental, scientific research in this country? But on the other hand, white folk, they may be a part of research, but it's always for researching to try to create the superhuman, white human. That's 6'2" with Mediterranean blue eyes and blonde hair, or their research is on. No, I'm just wondering.
Well,
and it's the truth. As they have their research going on, but their research is always pretty.
well,
That research, no, really. And the funny thing about it is they're not trying to research on the pretty things on us. Well, let's see how we can produce, since we're so weak, the super Negro.
I think that was called a movie called The Terminator.
Right, with the perfect texture of coarse hair, and the perfect brown eyes, and the perfect muscle. No, they do research on them, but their research is always to conquer. Their research is always to be, you understand? They research on us to cure, to find out ways to cure them, but their research is always to make them super, or their intellect to make it, I just wonder about that, but nobody questioned that because nobody questions anything. So I just heard.
well, well.
I guess I should be quiet.
There are.
I was quiet.
There are some terrible things that white people have experienced in the name of medical science. That's just not what we're focused on in this book. But I do get into in one of the later sections, and it's 734, about the issue of bullying, which I think goes to your question, Vanita, about why is it that black people are always the subject of these kinds of things. So let's hold that for a minute and get through a little bit more.
Well, I just look at, I thought, I listened to your question 10 about ethics. I thought that was quite interesting, because and I was listening to a lot of comments about different things, but I wonder what is our Tuskegee of today that that we're standing quietly by, and we're in the middle of things, and we watch happen. I think that a lot of times middle stuff, they have the power.
We're losing you, Joe. All right.
I looked at this last question about ethics. How might we focus on ethics to help to end the use of black bodies as experimental subjects? We live in a country where there are no ethics.
That's right.
There's never been any ethics. So you can't produce something that has never been there. The people that run this country, the ones that sit on Capitol Hill, as I said before, those $5,000 suit wearing thugs, they have no ethics. When you read this chapter, you see the government had no ethics. The doctors, white and black, had no ethics.
That's right.
The nurse had no ethics. So I don't understand how we're going to, where we're going to get ethics from. We live in a country that has always been unethical, is even more ethical now than it's ever been. I just like to see anybody with a white hood on tonight. But United. But you know, no one has any ethics. You know what I'm saying? I mean, one thing I used to, when I was growing up, there was always all types of people. But I just found then, even the ones that might have drank all Friday night, you know, and whatever they did, they still had a bottom, as Michelle would say.
Yeah.
They had a bottom, you know. The one people that gamble ran numbers in the city. Believe it or not, they still had a bottom. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't have that. There is no bottom.
That's right.
You know, so I don't even think that takes courage. It's just how low will you go? How low can you go and be a black physician and help someone hurt anyone? Much less your own people. How low can you go to be a nurse? And I don't want to hear about she didn't know in 25 years, because I wouldn't want her to be a nurse of mine. If she was that dense, then she couldn't do anything to me anyway. To be honest with you. But I mean, you know, it's just I don't know. I try to have hope and you know, but I'm telling you, it's not looking good. Because we can't even talk to each other. First of all, if I talk to each other, I don't know, Michelle. Maybe you got an answer.
We're talking to each other right now.
That's right.
We do talk to each other. Thank God we can talk to each other. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have some sane people around me. You know, just to be able to.
I like Randy's question about what is our Tuskegee today. And I was reading somewhere, I think it was on Facebook, that 64,000 black women went missing last year. 64,000 last year. So are we still being used for body parts? That's a lot of people. That's a lot of women.
If you ever think hard, honey, how we got here today, you may find it's not funny. You better get down and pray. Well, you better get down and pray. You better pray for forgiveness. You better get down and pray all for your dirty business. You better get down upon your knees. Beg the Lord, please, please, please. You better get down. You better get down and pray. You better get down and pray.